Your life starts when you're born into a muddy medieval village. 1 cow, 6 siblings, and 0 prospects. Life is a predictable loop of plague, pig dung, and praying not to starve. No one looks at your chubby cheeks and says, "Ah yes, future royal comedian. You're not special, you're just alive." And for now, that's the only bar to clear. Pretty easy, right? Well, tell that to the 5th son of a drunk farmer with a bad harvest, whose mom named him something majestic like Dungbert. Either way, congratulations. You're anonymous, broke, and blissfully unaware that one day your job will involve fart jokes for kings. You're not trained, you're not destined, you're just unlucky. One day, you'll either mouth off to a nobleman, fall into the castle wine barrel, or get caught doing impressions of the bishop's lisp. And that's it. Your peasant career ends, and your jester career begins with a boot up your butt and a bell on your hat. No formal audition, no talent scouts. Just one badly timed joke, and suddenly, you're property of the court. The kind that has no human rights. But for now, you're just a child. A muddy, lice-infested, blissfully ignorant child. Enjoy it while it lasts, because soon, your job will be to make powerful people laugh while making sure you don't die. Easiest job in the world? We'll let you be the judge of that. Years go by, and no one's sure if you're still alive. Oh, there you are. Congratulations on surviving tuberculosis, smallpox, falling into a ditch, and even the Black Death. You are now one of the lucky 50% who make it to adulthood. Well, technically, you're 16, probably, or 15. No one's kept track since the goat ate the family Bible. But one thing your dad is sure of is you should be taking up the family's tradition of breaking your back plowing. The only problem is that the aptitude test you took last week showed that you'll be a terrible farmer and called you a joker. Your dad's not amused, but you take it literally. And I mean literally. You go to the village square every day doing your bit. Maybe mocking the priest's bald spot. Maybe imitating the baron's constipated warhorse. People laugh. It's your finest work. Then a man with shiny boots and dead eyes points at you and says, "That one." You're dragged into the castle by 2 guards who smell like horse urine and boiled onions. You ask if this is a misunderstanding. One of them laughs. That's the last time your words will be funny on your terms. A steward throws a bundle at your chest. It's a costume. Bright, ridiculous, stitched together like scraps of a failed circus. "Put it on," he says. You hesitate. He calls in another guard. You put it on. A few minutes later, you're standing in a great hall looking like a walking tapestry of embarrassment. Nobles stare. Someone coughs. You try to speak, but your voice cracks. You bow and fall flat on your face. They roar with laughter. And just like that, you're hired. They call it court jester. But let's be honest, you're a licensed fool. Your job is to slip on metaphorical banana peels for the delight of people who execute serfs for sneezing too loudly. You recite poetry, juggle potatoes, and, if you're bold, mock your betters. Just enough to make them laugh, but not enough to make them angry.
Nope.
No one tells you where the line is. You learn by crossing it. But there are no do-overs. Your first day ended with applause and bruised ribs. That night, as you lay on a hay-stuffed mattress trying to remember how dignity felt, a scrappy, one-eyed pigeon crash lands through your window, drops a scroll, and immediately begins pecking at your bread crust. You unroll the parchment. The ink smells like sweat and cabbage. Fool's Court, 17 new entries. Archie Armstrong told the bishop he had the face of a blessed pig. The king laughed. He didn't. Zal the Lame juggled daggers for a Mongol general. Cut my own foot. Got a goat as a reward. Triboulet. Remember, make the king laugh before mocking his mistress, not after. Buttertoes. King gifted me a lapdog and kissed my hand. You all still warming chamber pots? You don't know who Buttertoes is. You don't care. But your stomach twists anyway, because tomorrow they'll expect more, better, riskier. You're no longer a peasant, just a tool in a palace of teeth. And then realization hits you as you wonder if there ever was a previous Jester. But since no one says anything, why bother? Months go by, and you're getting better. You figure out how to time a fart joke between a noble's goblet sip and the king's wine spit. You master the art of insulting someone's lineage, just ambiguously enough that they can't even retaliate without admitting it hit too close to home. You even get a nickname. Not one you chose, of course. No jesters get to brand themselves. But the court calls you Grinworm. You hate it. It sticks. The king laughs more often when you're in the room. His attendant stops sneering. You're so good that the servants bring you meat now and then, not just broth. You even overhear someone say you're harmless, which is court speak for useful for now. Then one morning, you're summoned to perform privately. Just the king, no crowd, no laughter buffer. He's in a foul mood. You do your act, stumble, babble, mimic a rooster having a stroke, and you pray it lands. He smirks, then laughs, then gives you a ring. For your loyalty, he says. Your hands shake as you take it. Is it a gift? A test? A target? You don't know. You never know. Later that night, while still drowsy from the king giving you wine, your favorite bird, besides the king's chicken thighs, flies in. Fool's Court, 9 new entries. Steinchick. King made me quote Horace to a general mid-beheading. War's weird. Nasrudin. Told the king the truth in jest. He thanked me, then tripled my taxes. Buttertoes. Feast tonight. King fed me grapes by hand. One was sour. Heads will roll. Zhao the Lame. Got whipped for laughing at the wrong time. At least it was rhythmic. You don't reply. You just stare at Buttertoes' message. Again. You still don't know who he is. Different kingdom, different time. Who cares? He's everywhere. Everyone quotes him. The king mentioned his name once. Offhand, that was enough. You're not competing, but you are watching closely and quietly. Deep down, you hope he slips. Because if you're going to survive this place, you need to rise fast. Or they'll feed you to the dogs. 2 more years go by, and you're now a veteran at staying alive. Your main skill? Really? Same 9-to-5 routine. Juggle, bow, insult someone important, just gently enough to avoid a beheading. Don't mock the queen. Never mock the queen. Don't even talk about the queen. And always bow lower than you think is reasonable. Then, one morning, the war horns blow. You think, finally, something that doesn't involve juggling potatoes in front of inbred aristocrats. Nope. You're wrong. They're not sending you to fight. They're sending you to perform. For morale, apparently. Nothing says we've totally got this war under control, like a man in bells doing cartwheels while people bleed out in trenches. So you pack your loot, your chicken feather hat, and all your unresolved trauma, and ride off with the king's war caravan like a very colorful hostage. Getting to the battlefield, you realize it's somehow worse than court life. In court, death is quiet. Some poison, a dagger, a hunting accident. Out here, it smells like roasted horse and panic. You're cracking jokes to keep your life. And I mean that literally. Then, the real highlight, you get picked to deliver a humorous message to the enemy commander. Basically, a sarcastic scroll. The idea is, if they laugh, maybe they'll talk peace. If they don't, you're just a diplomatic meat shield. So, across the field you go, smiling like your life depends on it, because it does. You get a chance to deliver your Lord's message. Just one chance. Your life depends on it. So you do your best. Silence. Then finally, one general laughs. The archer next to him doesn't. But you get to crack another joke for another year. You limp back to camp with a black eye, a cracked rib, and a newfound respect for sarcasm-related injuries. You did well, the king says. He's either praising you or doesn't remember your name. That night, while you're trying to fish an arrow splinter out of your leg with a soup spoon, your friend, the scrappy pigeon, crash lands into your campfire and drops a half-burned scroll. Fool's Court, new entries. Zhao the Lame, sent into battle with a banner that said, "Surrender now, idiots." Barely made it back. Triboulet, big mistake at work today. Made fun of both the king and the queen. Almost died. Now I know how I'll die. You'll never guess it. Nasrudin, disguised as a goat for infiltration. The plan worked. Smell never left. Archie Armstrong, war's the only time the noble stops listening to themselves. That's why they send us in first. You don't reply. You just stare at the pigeon. It starts pecking at your soup, and you start to realize the awful truth. There's no way out of this job that doesn't involve a grave. But all's well that ends well. Right? Right? Years go by, and you're in your early 30s. Congratulations. You've outlived your dad and are now a familiar face in the court. Your name is known across the kingdom. After a lifetime of forced laughter, your service is finally paying off. You might even retire with your life. Yes, you've danced with death more times than you can count. But you always landed on your feet. The king loves you. The crowned prince confides in you. For once, things seem safe, but your body says otherwise. The years of abuse, falls, beatings, stress have caught up. Your knees crack, your breath is short. So you stick to clever wordplay and well-timed remarks. Still, they laugh. Still, they applaud. Then comes the feast. The king has guests. Foreign nobles, generals, wives, mistresses, and others you don't recognize. The kind of faces that speak with armies. He wants you to perform. You're tired. The room is a blur of wine and expectation, and you feel it. Something heavy pressing down on your ribs. You make the mistake of speaking from it. You improvise. A joke. Too clever. Too fast. Too honest. About the ambassador's very young wife and the king's habit of inspecting dowries personally. Someone laughs. Loud, sharp, sudden. Then silence. The ambassador isn't an ambassador. He's the crown prince of a powerful ally. He doesn't laugh. The king stares. A chair scrapes the floor. You bow slowly. Too slowly.
Nope.
You're dragged away before dessert. Which is insulting, because it was supposed to be honey cakes, and you love honey cakes. No trial, no last words, no time to explain. By nightfall, you're in the tower, stripped of your motley, your ring, your name. Now, alone in the dungeon, you think of your life when it all began with the bishop's lisp. You know that the court eats boar the next morning. You know a new jester will be brought before the king. A boy who once swept the stables. Younger, cleaner, obviously, more fit. Juggling flaming clubs. After all, you trained him. So you know the king will laugh, the nobles will clap, and no one will mention the last one. Years pass, or maybe they don't. No one writes down the date a jester dies. Not unless it's funny. You didn't die screaming or laughing, just quietly. A rope? A blade? A cup of something that tasted a little off? Old age? No one remembers. Not even the cooks. Your name fades. Your jokes are stolen by others. Butter Toes might have gotten a statue, or might have lost his head. You don't care as you get buried in a hole outside the stables. No plaque, no poem, just a bit of stained cloth, buried under leaves, and the memory of someone who danced too close to power and slipped. That's all that's left of Dungbert. He wasn't a legend, he was a joke. And like all good jokes in court, he ended when they stopped laughing. In a castle far away, a bird perches on a window with a letter. Fool's Court, new message. Dungbert has left the chat. Steinchick. Another gone. That joke must have been good.